Hello, today is the anniversary of the birth in 1948 of Sven-Göran Eriksson, the football manager who took England to 3 quarter-finals while he was in charge. He is an interesting person because he did a lot of good and was much admired, and yet there often seemed to be a negative side to his activities and personality as well. For example, he was very much loved by his players and very loyal to them, but on the other hand, there was an occasion when he was the victim of a sting by a journalist and said some rather disparaging and disloyal things about them. He was a supporter of charity, and with his then girlfriend Nancy Dall'Olio set up a charity, Truce International, for promoting football as a peacemaking endeavour. But the charity fell apart when he split up with Nancy because he had an affair with somebody else. He appeared to be very generous. He gave, or rather refused to take from Notts County £2 million which they owed him, because he feared it would make the club bankrupt. And yet at the same time, when he died, though he left more than £5 million, he owed more than 8. And so apparently loyal, apparently charitable, apparently generous, but underneath the surface, not always what it seemed. And it seems to be true of most of us, that the outward picture, the good side of us, the things that we're proud of, and I think we should think about those occasionally, are very encouraging for us. But we need also to be aware, as I'm sure most of us are, that under the surface we're not as good as we might like to be. There's often a negative side to us as well. We may come over as relaxed and easygoing, but actually there's a great deal of anxiety lurking there somewhere. Or we might come across and like to think of ourselves as good people, but we're also aware that in some of our actions and some of our relationships we don't behave particularly well. Or like Eriksson, we may like to feel that we're generous, but actually we're fairly stingy with our money. It'll be different for all of us, and perhaps we need to look at our lives and see what the negatives are to our positive aspects. But the point I wanted to make today particularly was that with us and indeed with Eriksson, these negative aspects of us are often well known, but the danger comes when we don't acknowledge the reverse side of some of our good qualities, when things go on inside us that we're not aware of or turn a blind eye to because we don't like what we see. And then these things come out in ways that are not very loving, often not helpful to others, in passive aggression or in saying things that seem to sort of slip out of our mouths and we don't know where they come from, but they're not very kind, or in things that we do that are destructive of our own happiness. We undermine our own enjoyment by things that we do that we come from aspects of our lives that we haven't examined. And so today just thought that perhaps we might look at the good things and enjoy what we're good at and the aspects of our personality which are positive and hopeful and kind, but also be aware that there may well be a negative side to each of those, and we might need to look and see what those might be. Just knowing they're there helps. You can't always remove them, but just acknowledging them sometimes takes the sting out of them and prevents us behaving in ways that we don't really want to behave, but which come from that darker part of our lives.